In the center of Beijing stands a palace so vast, so symbolic, and so carefully arranged that it was never meant to feel like an ordinary human residence. The Forbidden City was the home of Chinese emperors, but it was also something much larger, a physical expression of imperial authority. For more than 5 centuries, from 1420 until 1924, this palace complex served as the political and ceremonial heart of China. 24 emperors of the Ming and Qing dynasties lived and ruled from within its walls. To enter this world was to step into a system where architecture, ritual, hierarchy, and power were fused together. The name itself suggests separation. This was a city inside a city, restricted to the emperor, his household, officials, servants, guards, and those permitted by imperial command. For most people, it was not simply impressive. It was unreachable. Construction of the Forbidden City began in 1406 under the Yongle Emperor of the Ming dynasty and was completed in 1420. That timeline alone is remarkable, because the project was enormous in scale and ambition. It required planning not just a palace, but an entire controlled environment for government, ceremony, domestic life, storage, defense, and symbolism. The complex covered about 72 hectares, or roughly 178 acres, in the center of the imperial city. Its placement was not accidental. Beijing was being shaped into an imperial capital, and the palace sat at the center of that design. The emperor's residence was positioned as the axis around which political order revolved. In imperial thought, the ruler was not merely an administrator. He was presented as the son of heaven, the figure connecting earthly rule with cosmic order. The palace had to reflect that status. One of the most powerful features of the Forbidden City is its scale. Popular tradition often says it contains 9,999 rooms, a number chosen because it approaches heavenly perfection without equaling it. Modern experts have placed the count closer to 8,886 rooms, but the exact number is less important than the message such figures convey. The palace was designed to overwhelm. Courtyard after courtyard, hall after hall, gate after gate, the visitor experiences a sequence of controlled spaces. Each transition reinforces distance from the outside world and closeness to the imperial center. The complex was not built like a modern palace meant for comfort alone. It functioned as a stage for power. Its size made government feel permanent, its repetition made hierarchy visible, and its layout reminded everyone that access to the emperor was carefully measured. The Forbidden City was both a residence and a machine of government. Emperors lived there with their families, consorts, attendants, and household staff, but the palace also hosted ceremonies, audiences, administrative rituals, and decisions affecting the empire. This dual role shaped the entire complex. Public authority and private life were separated by space. Grand outer halls were used for state ceremonies and formal occasions, while inner areas were connected with the emperor's household and daily life. Even within the palace, access depended on rank, gender, function, and relationship to the throne. The emperor occupied the center of this world, but he was also surrounded by rules. His movements, ceremonies, clothing, and audiences were part of a broader ritual order. In that sense, the palace did not just contain power. It organized power. The architecture of the Forbidden City is one of the clearest surviving examples of traditional Chinese palatial design. Its wooden structures, raised platforms, sweeping roofs, red walls, and golden tiles are visually striking, but they also communicate rank and meaning. The arrangement follows a strong central axis, creating symmetry and order. Important buildings are placed along this line, while secondary structures extend to either side. This reinforces the idea that the emperor stands at the center of political and cosmic balance. Materials and colors mattered too. Red walls suggested protection, ceremony, and auspiciousness, while yellow roof tiles were associated with imperial authority. The palace was not decorated randomly. It was a code. To understand its architecture is to understand how Imperial China used space to teach obedience, hierarchy, and legitimacy. Because the Forbidden City is made largely of wood, its survival is extraordinary. UNESCO recognizes it as the largest collection of preserved ancient wooden structures in the world. That matters because wood is vulnerable. Fire, weather, insects, warfare, neglect, and political change could have destroyed it many times over. Yet the complex remains, restored and maintained across centuries. Its preservation gives historians and visitors a rare window into how imperial space was built and experienced. Stone ruins can tell us about power, but wooden halls preserve a different feeling: painted beams, layered roofs, enclosed courtyards, and human-scale passages inside a massive ceremonial order. The survival of these structures allows the Forbidden City to function not only as a monument, but as a living archive of design, craftsmanship, and state imagination. For more than 500 years, the Forbidden City witnessed dramatic changes in Chinese history. It was built by the Ming dynasty, inherited by the Qing dynasty, and remained the imperial palace until the end of dynastic rule. The year 1924 marks the end of its role as the residence of China's last emperor. That transition is significant because it changed the palace from an inaccessible center of monarchy into a public cultural institution. In 1925, it came under the administration of the Palace Museum. Objects once held within imperial collections became part of a national museum collection. The meaning of the site shifted. What had once symbolized exclusive imperial power became a place where the public could encounter history directly. A forbidden space was gradually transformed into a shared cultural inheritance. The Palace Museum is central to the Forbidden City's modern importance. Its collections are rooted in the imperial collections of the Ming and Qing dynasties, which included works of art, ritual objects, documents, ceramics, paintings, furnishings, and treasures associated with court life. These artifacts deepen the story beyond architecture. They reveal taste, ceremony, diplomacy, religion, governance, and the private world of the court. A palace without its objects can become an empty shell. A museum collection reconnects the buildings with the people and institutions that used them. The Forbidden City therefore preserves not only walls and halls, but also layers of material culture. Through these collections, visitors can see how imperial authority was performed, how luxury was displayed, and how craftsmanship served political meaning. The Forbidden City has influenced architecture and culture far beyond its own walls. Its layout, scale, symbolism, and ceremonial logic became a model for palatial architecture in East Asia and an object of fascination around the world. The complex represents a mature form of Chinese imperial planning, where every feature supports a larger worldview. Gates control movement. Courtyards create anticipation. Halls express rank. Symmetry suggests order. Color marks authority. Even emptiness has meaning, because large open spaces make the individual feel small before the institution. This influence is not just aesthetic. It shows how architecture can make political ideas visible. Long before modern media, rulers used buildings to communicate who held power, where authority came from, and how society was meant to be arranged. In 1987, the Forbidden City was named a UNESCO World Heritage Site, confirming its global significance. But for China, its importance is not only international. The palace carries deep national and cultural meaning. Many Chinese people view it as a link to their ancestors and to a long historical civilization. This emotional connection matters because the Forbidden City is not just a tourist attraction. It is tied to memory, identity, and continuity. It represents artistic achievement, imperial grandeur, political centralization, and the endurance of cultural forms across enormous upheavals. The same walls that once kept ordinary people out now invite millions in. That reversal gives the site a special tension. It is both a reminder of hierarchy and a shared symbol of heritage. Today, the Forbidden City is one of the most visited cultural sites in the world. Since 2012, it has averaged around 14 million visitors each year, and in 2019 it received more than 19 million. Those numbers show how powerful the site remains in the modern imagination. Visitors come for different reasons. Some want to see the palace of emperors. Some come for architecture, photography, art, or national history. Others come because the name itself has become legendary. Yet the experience is more than sightseeing. Walking through the Forbidden City means moving through carefully designed layers of authority. Even among crowds, the structure still communicates distance, ceremony, and scale. The emperor is gone, but the architecture continues to perform its old message: power once lived here. The lasting power of the Forbidden City comes from the way it combines history, architecture, mythology, and political meaning in one place. It was built as an imperial residence, but it became a symbol of an entire civilization's approach to rulership. It was designed to separate the emperor from the public, yet it now receives millions of visitors. It was once the center of decision-making for a vast empire, and today it functions as a museum, archive, landmark, and cultural memory. Its rooms, halls, gates, and courtyards remind us that power is never only exercised through laws or armies. Power is also staged through space. The Forbidden City endures because it still lets us see that stage, almost intact, centuries after the final curtain fell on Imperial China. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.